Get ready to have your spine tingled and your heart racing as we uncover the chilling secrets of the haunted woods. Are you brave enough to join me on this spine-chilling journey? Anna had heard the legends of the Whispering Woods all her life. Growing up in the small town of Ravenscroft, tales of the haunted forest were whispered among the children, shared in hushed tones at sleepovers, and used by parents to warn against wandering too far. But Anna was not a child anymore. She was a skeptic, a student of science and logic, on the cusp of completing her degree in biology. The old superstitions that had once frightened her now seemed like nothing more than relics of an uneducated past. It was a bright autumn afternoon when Anna decided to venture into the Whispering Woods. Her backpack was filled with essentials: a flashlight, a map, a notebook, and her phone. She intended to debunk the myths once and for all, to prove to herself and others that there was nothing to fear. As she stepped into the forest, the towering trees cast long shadows, and the air grew cooler. The atmosphere was eerie, but Anna's determination did not waver. The deeper Anna ventured, the more the world outside seemed to fade away. The only sounds were the crunching of leaves beneath her boots and the occasional call of distant birds. She paused to take notes on the flora, marveling at the diversity and richness of the ecosystem. Yet, an unsettling feeling began to creep over her, a sensation of being watched. Determined to stay rational, Anna shook off the feeling and pressed on. After another hour of trekking, she stumbled upon something peculiar, a clearing with an old, decrepit cabin at its center. The structure looked abandoned, its wooden planks rotting and its windows shattered. Intrigued, Anna approached the cabin, her curiosity piqued. As she pushed open the creaking door, the smell of damp wood and decay filled her nostrils. Inside, the cabin was empty save for a few pieces of broken furniture and a thick layer of dust. Anna's eyes were drawn to a book lying on a table, its cover worn and its pages yellowed with age. She picked it up and began to read. The book was a journal, filled with the ramblings of someone named Elias Thorne. The entries were dated over a century ago, detailing his life as a recluse in the forest. Elias wrote of his isolation, his growing paranoia, and the whispers he began to hear at night. Anna's interest turned to concern as she read on. Elias spoke of shadows that moved on their own, voices that called his name, and an overwhelming sense of dread. One entry stood out, October 13th, 1903. They are closer now. I hear them even in daylight. The whispers speak of secrets, of things I cannot comprehend. I fear I am losing my mind, but I must know the truth. I will venture to the heart of the woods, where the whispers are strongest. Anna's heart raced. She had heard of October 13th, the day Elias Thorne vanished without a trace. His disappearance had fueled the legends of the Whispering Woods. She decided to follow in his footsteps, to uncover the truth behind the whispers. Nightfall was approaching as Anna continued deeper into the forest, guided by Elias's descriptions. The trees grew denser, their twisted branches forming a canopy that blocked out the waning light. The air was thick with an unnatural silence, broken only by the occasional rustle of leaves. As darkness enveloped the forest, Anna's flashlight became her only source of illumination. The beam cut through the blackness, revealing glimpses of the path ahead. But soon, the whispers began. At first, they were faint, barely audible over the sound of her footsteps. But gradually, they grew louder, more insistent. They spoke in hushed tones, indistinguishable words that sent shivers down Anna's spine. She tried to ignore them, to focus on her goal, but the whispers seemed to be all around her, growing more persistent with each step. Anna's rational mind struggled to find an explanation. Could it be the wind, or perhaps her imagination? But as she pressed on, the whispers became more coherent. They called her name, beckoning her to continue. After what felt like hours, Anna reached the heart of the forest. The whispers were deafening now, a cacophony of voices swirling around her. She stumbled into another clearing, similar to the one with the cabin, but larger. In the center stood an ancient tree, its gnarled branches reaching skyward like twisted fingers. Anna approached the tree, her heart pounding. As she drew closer, the whispers grew more intense, more urgent. She placed a hand on the rough bark, and the voices fell silent. For a moment, there was nothing but silence. Then, a single voice spoke, clear and unmistakable. "Anna." She spun around, but no one was there. The voice continued, speaking of things no one should know, her fears, her regrets, her deepest secrets. The tree seemed to pulse with a malevolent energy, and Anna realized with growing horror that the whispers were not from the wind or her mind, but from the tree itself. The tree spoke of its hunger, its need for souls to sustain it. It had lured Elias Thorne to his doom, and now it sought to claim Anna. The realization struck her like a physical blow. The legends were true. The whispering woods were haunted, and the tree was the source. Panic surged through Anna. She turned and ran, the whispers rising to a fever pitch. They pleaded with her to stay, to become one with the forest, but she forced herself to ignore them. Her only thought was escape. The forest seemed to conspire against her, the path twisting and turning, branches reaching out to snag her clothing. Her flashlight flickered, threatening to plunge her into darkness. She stumbled, her breath coming in ragged gasps, but she did not stop. Hours seemed to pass as she fought her way through the dense undergrowth. The whispers faded, replaced by the sounds of the forest at night. Finally, just as she thought she could go no further, she burst out of the woods and into the open air. Anna collapsed onto the grass, gasping for breath. She looked back at the whispering woods, now shrouded in darkness. The whispers were gone, but the memory of them lingered, a haunting echo in her mind. She knew she could never forget what she had experienced. The forest was alive, a malevolent entity that fed on the souls of the unwary. She had been lucky to escape, but others might not be so fortunate. As she made her way back to Ravenscroft, Anna resolved to warn the townspeople. The legends of the Whispering Woods were not mere stories, they were a dire warning. The forest was dangerous, and those who ventured into its depths risked losing more than their way. If you've braved haunted locations or have terrifying stories of your own to share, we'd love to hear from you. Drop your spooky tales at midnightwhispersnetwork@gmail.com. And don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more bone-chilling explorations of the supernatural. Until next time, stay curious and keep exploring the unknown.